Welcome, and I would like to call to order meeting of Johnson County Council for January 12th, 2026. Amy, could we have a roll call, please?
Pamela Burton,
Present?
Jonathan Myers,
Here.
Melinda Griesemer,
Here.
John Mallers,
Here.
Michelle Ann Graves,
Here.
John Dittmers,
Here.
Ron Bates.
Present.
I am going to open with a prayer. If you'd care to bow your heads and join me, please. Heavenly Father, we ask that you please grant us wisdom, clarity, and unity as we serve our community tonight. We ask that you protect all of those who serve and protect our homeland. We ask that you guide our decisions and our words. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You'd stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next on the agenda is approval of tonight's agenda, and we do have a few changes if everyone is prepared. Item G2 on the agenda, where Charlie Bourne will be speaking and giving us information. We're going to move that to after public comments and before nominations and elections. And then item E3, request from the assessor has been removed. And then we're going to add under new and old business, item G3, approval of a contract with Williams, Barrett, and Wilkowski. And under new and old business, as item G4, there is a lit distributions we need to discuss. And then we also need to add, would it be G5, Amy, D9?
D9.
It is a request for some administrative items for WIC.
Transfer
A
request.
transfer, correct. And is that all of the changes? Okay. I'm prepared to take a motion for the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the corrections as presented.
Second.
I have a first by Mrs. Graves, a second by Mr. Bates. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, at this time, we're going to open the podium and the microphone for public comments. These public comments are for agenda items only, and it is limited to 5 minutes. If you would like to make a public comment at this time, we ask that you approach the podium, state your name and your address for the record, and we'll go from there.
I'm Charlie Bourne, I'm on the agenda too.
We have you on after public comments. If you have a public comment, you're welcome to come forward, but we have you scheduled as you requested on the agenda, and it's after public comments.
My comment. Right there, that's what they're here for, I understand.
Okay, your choices are, anyone is welcome to come to the podium for 5 minutes of public comment. Anyone. State your name and address for the record. If there's no public comment, then we will close that portion and go on to you next.
Hello, my name is Debbie Adams.
Can you move a little closer to the microphone, please?
Can I pull it down?
Yes, ma'am. And your
Okay.
name and your address, please.
Okay, my name is Debbie Adams. My address is 749 West Lakeview Drive.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here as a resident of Nineveh Township. I'm here to urge the council to prioritize essential services when allocating county funds, like helping to bridge the funding gap for our new fire station, which is why many of us are here to talk about that. Our tax dollars should first and foremost support first responders, public safety, and roads, because without these, nothing else truly matters. I understand parks, recreation, and amenities like pickleball courts can attract residents and build community, but without public safety in place, these projects are irrelevant because public safety should come first. For years, the Nineveh Township Fire Department has been neglected. Our department never received the full tax appropriations it should have, while our township residents' tax dollars helped fund other departments and amenities elsewhere in our county. On top of that, our department serves the Johnson County Horse Park, but receives little to no tax dollars for compensation to do so. They are also often called to Camp Atterbury with little reimbursement. So, I mean, how does the county expect our first responders to service and protect these areas with so little support from county tax funds? So we are asking for, we're not asking for a yearly tax increase. We are simply asking for an allocation to help cover the new build of our fire station, one that's safer for our first responders and more efficient for our residents and the county parks that it serves. It's time that our township receives some of our own tax dollars back to our own tax dollars back so our emergency services can operate safely and effectively. Expecting homeowners to shoulder more debt and higher property taxes to make up for this gap is irresponsible. I respectfully ask the council to demonstrate fiscal responsibility and prioritize emergency services and infrastructure, especially in communities like Nineveh Township that have been overlooked for far too long. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your time. Any further comments from the audience at this point? You have 5 minutes at the podium. Seeing no one else approaching the podium, I will now close that portion of our meeting. And Mr. Bourne, we have moved you up under public comments. And we understand your request stated this was for information only. And we moved you to the beginning of the agenda because we do have a full agenda this evening. So I would ask that you be respectful of everyone's time with your information and realizing there's no vote or no input from the council at this point. So if you're welcome to take what time you need, but I just did want to point that out, please. Okay. And do state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Charlie Bourne. I live at 398 West Lakeview Drive, Princess Lakes, Nineveh. I'm here to follow up on what Debbie said. The building that they've been in has been there since 1956. And right now they're asking for a bond for $5.3 million to build that station. But they think they can do it for 3.5. And with the interest added on to that, the payments are going to be an average. Some will be lower, some will be higher, $109 a year. And that is going to hurt the residents that are on a fixed income. And we're asking the county to consider taking some funds out of your funding I got from Gateway at the end of 24, okay, which could be different at this time. But you had an extra $48 million left over in your general fund at the end of 24. And if we ask for like 3.5 to get this building done, that's just nickels and dimes, 48 million. I just asked the council to consider this because it's going to hurt our citizens that are on a fixed income. And if they do this on this bond, it's going to cost us approximately $109 a year more in our taxes. And I think after paying taxes all these many years from 1,700 homeowners in Nineveh Township, I think it's time that the county chipped in a little bit and helped us out. And I appreciate everything you can do for us.
Well, we appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. At this time, we are going to open the floor for nominations and elections for our council president and council vice president. And I am going to ask that Taylor keep us in the manner that it needs to be. So I would like to start with a nomination, if I may. for president, and I would like to nominate Michelle Graves as the incoming president.
Second.
So I have a first by Mrs. Burton, a second by Mr. Bates. Now, do we ask every other individual? We'll start at the far end of the table and ask if anyone has an additional nomination they would like to nominate for president.
I do not.
I do.
Okay.
Yes, and I have a speech here that I would like to give. So why don't Michelle go first since she was first nominated?
That's not the way that it works. Everyone gets the opportunity to do their nomination. It has to have a first and a second, and then we vote and talk. So
Okay, well, I have some things here I want to say.
about your nomination,
Yes.
Okay, so I think you would make the nomination first.
Okay, I'm Degree Smart.
Okay. And then we would open the floor for a second.
so I have a nomination by Melinda Griesemer on the floor for Melinda Griesemer for president of the Johnson County Council for 2026. I'll need a second. Hearing none, the nomination dies for lack of a second, correct?
Yes.
Now, moving on to Mr. Mallers, do you have a nomination
No.
for
No,
president?
no.
Mr. Ditmers
I do not.
and Mr. Bates?
If the second, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, you did get a second. So at this point, we now will take a roll call vote.
When is it I get to say my speech?
So I think typically you would do a first and a second, and then you could open the floor up for discussion prior
discussion?
to a vote.
Okay, okay.
But because it failed,
Uh-huh.
there was no second, so I mean, if you I don't think there's an opportunity for discussion at this point based on the motion failing.
Exactly. So it's ready
But
for,
we still have vice president, so
yes, we do. We still have vice president, but at this point, your motion failed for lack of a second. So at this point, protocol is to take a roll call vote.
correct.
Jonathan Myers,
Aye.
Melinda Griesemer, John Mallers,
Aye.
Pamela Burton,
Aye.
Michelle Ann Graves,
Aye.
John Dittmers,
Aye.
Ron Bates,
Aye.
motion passes.
Okay, so at this time, I am going to hand the meeting off to our new president. Congratulations, Michelle.
Thank you.
And you can start the nominations for vice president. Do you want to change seats or wait?
No,
Okay.
I'm fine. I would like to acknowledge Pam Burton for her leadership as council president. Among other accomplishments, she has been instrumental in getting the job classification process across the finish line for all Johnson County government employees, thus by ensuring equal pay for equal work. She has spent countless hours behind the scenes serving this council and the taxpayers of Johnson County, and I thank her publicly for her efforts.
Thank you.
You're welcome. At this time, we will open the nomination process for council vice president. I would like to nominate John Mallers as vice president.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Are there any other nominations for council vice president?
Ask each one individually.
Ron Bates,
No.
John Dittmers, seconded. I made the motion. Pam,
No, I have no other nomination.
John,
No.
Melinda? No. John?
No.
Hearing no other nominations, we will take a roll call vote, Amy, on John Mallers for council vice president.
Jonathan Myers,
Aye.
Melinda Griesemer,
Sure, why not?
John Mallers,
Aye.
Pamela Burton,
Yes.
Michelle Ann Graves,
Aye.
John Dittmers,
Aye.
Ron Bates,
Aye.
motion passes.
Congratulations, John Mallers. You
Thank
are
you.
now vice president.
Thank you very much.
I feel like I should move.
Stay there.
Yeah. All right. Next up on our agenda is item C, board appointments. If you remember, we had board appointments in December but we tabled the Greenwood City Economic Development Commission to tonight's meeting. We had 3 applicants for that. Tim Schrader, Jesse Allen, and Eric Reingart. Your information is in your packet. I do know there is a conflict for Tim Schrader because he currently serves on the Greenwood Park Board. And he would have to leave that board in order to be appointed to the Greenwood Economic Development Commission due to those being dual lucrative board positions. So keep that in your mind as we make our nominations for,
Excuse me, this is Tim Schrader. Can you hear me?
yes, sir.
I apologize for interrupting the meeting. If my being appointed to the Greenwood EDC means I have to withdraw from the Greenwood Park Board, who I'm very attached to and have a long history with, I withdraw my nomination.
Thank you, sir. We will make a note of that. Tim Schrader has withdrawn his candidacy papers for the Greenwood Economic Development Commission. So that leaves Jesse Allen and Eric Reingart as our 2 options tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Schrader.
I will, if I may.
Do you want to see if either of them are here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks what I started to do. All right.
Is Jesse Allen in the group tonight or online? He is online. Mr. Allen, would you like to say a few words, please?
Sure, yeah. I'm Jesse Allen. I'm a resident in Greenwood. I just like to make a difference and use my voice and come together and be an active member of the board. This would be my first time even applying for the board, and I will say I lack direct experience, just to be upfront where I am in the experience. So I've not been on the board before or any board outside of things with my professional work, but I'm very excited just to be a part. I'm a big part of my local church, and I'm excited just to make a difference wherever I can.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time is Eric Reingart in the audience. Would you like to approach the podium, please?
Hello, my name is Eric Reingart. I'm a resident of Greenwood. It was nice meeting you guys at the December meeting when we were looking at the other board positions. My experience is I worked with Aspire Johnson County for 3 years. They do the economic development for the whole county, but headquartered in Greenwood and an office in Franklin. And I also serve as a board member of the Public Revenue Education Council. We do a lot of research and discussions about, well, we share research about land use planning, economic development topics, things like that. So I hope to bring some of these ideas, some of this research to help my city with their development. Not even that they need that much help, because I think Mayor Mark Myers and the whole city council there, they do a great job with business growth, housing growth. But there's always more to do and to strengthen housing options for residents of Greenwood. So I appreciate you guys considering my application.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So at this time, I would entertain a motion.
Can we have some discussion?
Oh, yes, we should have discussion first.
If we can, may.
So I have a question. Mr. Allen lives in White River Township. Does that make a difference, or are you within the city of Greenwood?
It is in Sun Gold Trail in Greenwood on his application,
Okay,
so I'm assuming that is.
Yeah, that's in the prior address. I am in White River Township now, but I am also within the city limits.
okay, thank you for clarifying that. And I have a recommendation. As Mr. Allen is an architect, I think that brings strong values and tools towards the EDC. So I would make that recommendation based on his employment. In the form of a motion.
We're in discussion. Is there any further discussion before we entertain a motion?
I would like to say that I have reviewed the applications as well, and I completely support what Mr. Myers just stated. But I do want to point out the interest in these qualified people for this position. Oftentimes we don't get that, and especially to the young gentleman working with Aspire. His youth is refreshing. I mean, anytime you get the young ones that are coming out, not that anyone else is old, but it always blesses me to see the younger ones starting out. But I would be in support of Mr. Allen as well, with the experience that he has to bring to the table.
Any further discussion? I would entertain a motion.
I motion that Jesse Allen be a appointment for the Greenwood City Economic Development. Second.
I have a first by Jonathan T. Myers, a second by Ron Bates. Any further discussion? All those in favor of Jesse Allen for the Greenwood City Economic Development Commission, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Allen. Thank you for applying, and Mr. Reingart, thank you again for your interest in this matter. We do appreciate that.
There'll be other opportunities down the road.
Up next on the agenda, we have item D, routine matters consent agenda. By a single motion, the board approves the following items, which may include salary ordinance amendments, additional appropriations, reductions, and transfers. Any items listed on the consent agenda may be removed by a council member and moved to the regular agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve item D as presented, if no one has anything to be removed.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Pam Burton, a second by Jonathan T. Myers. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next on the agenda, item E, salary ordinance amendments, additional appropriations, reductions, and transfers. Up first is drug court adult, Sheena Johnson.
Hi.
Hello.
Sheena Johnson, I'm the court administrator. Congratulations to our new officers. Happy New Year.
Thank you, I think.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. Does anybody have any questions about my request?
Could,
Pam's so used to being president, she does have a question.
I'm sorry.
Do you want me to give you a little explanation? Okay. So back in 2022, we were awarded a federal grant for drug court. That's going to be wrapping up at the end of September 2026. The amounts requested there for additional appropriations represent the remainder of the funds for that. The program therapist position was already approved at the budget hearings in 2025. It's in the fees fund, the 2001 probation administration fund. So the entirety of that amount was already appropriated in that account, but we would like to finish this grant out by paying that program therapist through the grant until it's gone. So that's what
So
it is.
this is not a new position. For
No.
clarification,
No.
it's just using grant funds to finish out the payroll.
Right, and
Okay.
we kind of thought this was how this was gonna go, but we
Mhm.
weren't sure, and I still have a little bit of money left. I'll come back and ask for the group health insurance. That's where we're gonna put whatever's
Okay.
left, once we get that far.
Yep.
Should be about April.
Okay, I follow that.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mrs. Johnson?
I'd move to approve.
I have a first by John Dittmers,
Second.
second by Jonathan T. Myers. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, item E2, General Fund Unified Probation. Hello.
Steve Kermode, Assistant Director, Johnson County Community Corrections. This request is to correct administrative error on my part. It was still based on the approved salary structure for 2026. When I calculated these probation officer raises, I used their county anniversary dates instead of their probation officer anniversary dates. So this is an attempt to correct that. I'm not asking for an additional appropriation, just going to take that from the overtime line item and transfer that to correct that error.
Does anyone have any questions?
This is to be retroactive, correct?
Yes, to 12/25.
I do have a question. How did you find this error?
I sent out their salaries and said based on these dates, and they were like, well, that's my county hire date, not my probation officer date. So I had transposed those two numbers.
I guess I just would have one other question. Is there any oversight exists that could prevent this from happening in the future?
Yep, I'm gonna send that out prior to budget time and make sure that I've got all the information correct before we get to this process.
And I do understand this is a transfer. You're moving it out of your overtime line item, so it is not an additional appropriation. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Eloquent solution.
Yes, very novel.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I have a first by Jonathan T. Myers,
Second.
second by Ron Bates. All those or any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have removed item E3, so we'll move on to item E4, the VOCA grant. Hello.
Michelle Murray, the Office Administrator, Prosecutor's Office. These are just some more adjustments from this VOCA grant that started in September 30th of last year. That we had to come back for to reappropriate the money for the start of the new year. And then this grant will be over September 30th of this year. So then we won't have it anymore.
So again, we're not changing salaries, adding positions. It's just grant funds that we're appropriating.
Yes.
And it was always intended for this purpose.
Yes.
If you want to take 4A, 5A, all together, it's all related.
I kind of want to keep them separate. I have a question about
Well, you can do 5C separate.
5C separate. Okay. So we could take item 4, A and B, item 5, A and B. Is there any further discussion?
That also is retro, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Move to approve items 4A and B and 5A and B.
I have a first from John Mallers,
Second.
second by Ron Bates. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
So if we could please, item 5C, that's a pretrial diversion program. And you're asking an additional appropriation of $50,000 for professional services.
Yes.
Could
ma'am.
you elaborate on that, please?
Yes, ma'am. We have several big trials that are coming up this year that we didn't realize were coming once the budget was set for this year. We have to call expert witnesses. They have to come in from other states. And we have one particular that's going to cost us quite a bit of money. Obviously, had we known this was going to happen before the budget cycle, we would have included it during the budget cycle.
How are the cases assigned? Who assigns it? Or
They are assigned by the court when the cases are filed. Or, excuse me, they're assigned by the clerk's office. There's an automatic,
Rolodex?
yes, depending on which court it goes into.
So you really don't have any control over whether you accept or deny a case?
No.
Okay.
My only question is on this, I think the balance in that line item at the beginning of the year is like 35,000.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Does this 50,000, I mean, are these professional services expenses for the witnesses and all and experts and all that's gonna happen in January, or are they gonna happen throughout the year? My point is, I'm just wondering if that 35,000 can cover for a little while and then do an additional in like maybe March or April. If not, that's fine, but
I
that was.
definitely know that the majority of this will be used by February.
Oh, okay. Well, that answers that question.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If it is, it is. I just kind of
I
want.
say that is a given that this money, the 35,000 will be gone by February.
That's what our projection is, yes.
Okay.
Unless for some reason the cases get continued. Don't have any control over that at this point, so.
And I would piggyback on what John Mallers was mentioning. This is January and it seems a bit premature to be asking for additional appropriations so soon into the new budget year. And another reason to delay, if that were an option, would be perhaps, later in the year, you can find another fund that we could transfer from and not be an additional appropriation. But if you're spending the money that quickly, it doesn't sound like that's going to be a transfer. It's not going to be an option either, correct?
Most likely not.
Okay.
So apparently we're talking about a high profile case.
Yes, sir. We actually, matter of fact, we have one starting tomorrow. It's a dealing drugs case causing death. And we've had to fly in a couple of experts from out of state. It's already costing us about $7,000 to do that. So, and we have a couple of more of those coming up. And then we have a big murder trial supposed to be going in February.
If there's no further discussion or questions, I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve item 5C.
I have a first by John Mallers,
Second.
second by Ron Bates. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Up next, item E6, innkeepers tax collections. Hello, Ken.
Good evening. I'm Ken Koski, Director of Festival Country. Good to see you all. Congratulations on the new officers. And as Sheena said, Happy New Year. Just here for the quarterly appropriation. At the next time I see you, I will have our new printed guide as well as our annual report. We're starting to get some of those statistics in, and they're all looking good. We reached 68.3 million people with our advertising. Our website visits were up from 336,000 a year to 386,000 a year. We received more than 1/3 in free advertising. So in addition to what we pay for, our efforts to get out there and get that free advertising have paid off. The couple of the big projects we told you about late last year are starting to move along. The Trafalgar Public Plaza that those residents and visitors can enjoy. They've already selected a plaza, and it's my understanding that that will be built in the coming months. And I have a meeting later in the week with Edinburgh to move theirs along. We're meeting with an entity that will help build theirs. So just wanted to let you know those projects are moving along. And we've renewed our co-op advertising with Visit Indiana. So every dollar we spend is matched by one of theirs. So this money goes twice as far. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
I did have one question. I know this is a quarterly distribution, so that using the figure you're asking for tonight, that your annual budget is about 1.29 million. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, that is exactly 1/4 of our budget.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I had.
I have a question.
Yes.
You talked about Trafalgar and you talked about Edinburgh, and I think you talked about, is that remind me what you said there.
Yeah, so this will be a central gathering spot for those communities where there'll be an entertainment plaza, like a amphitheater, a smaller version. And then each town will have other features, like Edinburgh wants to potentially have a water feature or a food truck court. So each one will have things added to that, but for the first time ever, they'll have a central gathering spot where.
So what is Festival Country? What's the role and what's the financial commitment to?
Yes, we've committed $100,000 to each of those projects, and we had an international expert, Roger Brooks, come in that said basically, so like we see Edinburgh and there's some vacant stores. The downtown needs some impetus to move forward and really take off, kind of like Franklin has. And so it's his opinion, having worked with 2,500 destinations, that we can be the catalyst for doing that. And so Edinburgh, for example, is using our money to try to get matching funds from Ready Grant to not only do that entertainment plaza, but to double those efforts and to add some more amenities.
So it's seed money, basically seed money.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just for the benefit of some who may not be as familiar with this program, because you're talking pretty big numbers of money here. Could you please explain where this money comes from? How it's justifiable, what it is allotted for, what the money can and cannot be used for? So just so everyone has a clear understanding.
Yeah, so this is a tax on people who stay at hotels or extended stay Airbnbs in our county. So 5% of that stay. So it's basically a tax on those that visit our county, and then it's used to attract more. So if we're collecting it and the hotels are facilitating that, we want to fill those hotels even more in the future. So under Indiana statute, we can spend it basically on two things. Marketing to promote tourism. So we do those advertising campaigns that I told you about, but also product development. So if we can identify some things will not only benefit residents, but also draw visitors in, then we'll help build those.
I just know when I first started following this, I was very confused because there are a lot of worthy causes out there that could use money. So I just wanted you to yeah, I know. So I know. Yeah. But unfortunately, these funds are collected and dispersed by the state for certain things. So it's not like anybody has the power to say, we're going to take this amount and do this with it.
It never fails. Whenever I speak at like a Rotary or something, I'm always the second speaker, and the first one is emergency services, and they talk about the live fix. And I'm like, well, we're going to do concerts, but the work we do is valuable. We talk to many shop owners that say, like, until you guys started promoting, for example, downtown Franklin, once you started that and sponsored the concert series, our shops really started becoming successful. So it does bring those dollars in, and the tax dollars then with the gas tax and all the stuff that is spent, it does make its way. But I just want you all to know that I respect the work you do. My mom, who died in December, her and her husband were longtime volunteer firefighters up in Michigan where they live. So yeah, appreciate that.
I just thought it would be a good time to be clear on what these funds can be used for. So,
I suppose that begs another question. That's the decision-making process. So how do you determine, I want to say worthy projects, a lot of worthy projects that probably don't qualify, but how do you determine what does qualify?
Yeah, so ultimately it's, so for example, if the fire department wanted to start a festival in their community that would be something for the residents and visitors to come to, but it would also be a fundraiser, that would qualify. What we look for is our grant program is set up not to permanently fund something. So for example, there's been festivals that we help fund the full amount the first year, a smaller amount the second year, and a smaller amount the third year, just to get them up and running, like Halloween Town in Franklin, Strawberry Festival in Greenwood, and then they become self-sufficient. So we want things that can support themselves, but we also want quality of life projects. So I meet with the parks departments all the time and say, like, there's not much going on in the winter. If we could bring an ice skating rink in, we'd help fund that. We've got basketball in our parks and pickleball. We don't have mountain biking or kayaking. If you could bring one of those to fruition. So that's kind of the type of stuff that we're looking for. But we have a board member, Jennifer Eccles, in the audience. It's ultimately her and the other 8 board members that evaluate those very carefully and, pick the ones that we think will give us the most bang for the buck.
and their steps are guided by statute, correct?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I would entertain a motion if there's nothing further for Ken.
I'd move to approve the quarterly allocation.
I have a first by John Dittmers, second by Ron Bates, and Amy, we should do a roll call vote since one of our members has stepped out of the meeting.
She went to the restroom.
Okay, well,
I still would prefer a vote, roll call.
Sure. Jonathan Myers,
Aye.
John Mallers,
Aye.
Pamela Burton,
Aye.
Michelle Ellen Graves,
Aye.
John Dittmers,
Aye.
Ron Bates,
Aye.
passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Ken. Other business, item F. This is an approval of resolution 2026-01. And we talked about this in December's meeting. It's to transfer funds as a temporary loan from rainy day to the Cume Bridge, while Cume Bridge Fund awaits its distribution of money that comes in June.
That's what I was gonna say. Maston, I was supervisor. No, that's fine. We discussed this in November. So again, this is a temporary loan. We will pay back once we get our June distributions in the bridge fund. It has no cash in it currently because it just started back up.
That comes from the state, right?
That's property tax collection. So it's local.
So just kind of maybe to remind everyone, the county had done away with the Cume Bridge Fund, correct?
Correct.
We brought it back for the budget year 2026, but the fund won't have any money distributed to it until June, just how the system works. So we're authorizing a temporary loan to fund it until the distribution in June, and then off we go. The general fund or the rainy day fund gets paid back
And it's restored completely, correct?
Yes.
in its entirety. Yeah.
With interest.
Bridge fund used to loan general fund money, so if I can go back and get that interest, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think speaking as the former treasurer, all of most of our money is commingled in the county. So the general fund by statute receives all the interest on that money anyway. So yes, in a way, we do get the interest on it. That helps. Again, is there any further discussion?
No, I move to approve.
I have a motion by John Dittmers,
Second.
second by John Mallers. Any further discussion? And again, we have a council member who stepped out. May we do a roll call vote, please?
Jonathan Myers,
Aye.
John Mallers,
Aye.
Pamela Burton,
Aye.
Michelle Ellen Graves,
Aye.
John Dittmers,
Aye.
Ron Bates,
Aye.
motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. Up next, item G, old and new business. First under that is coroner. And it's approval of title change to administrative assistant, and B, approval of updated job description. If you would please state your name for the record.
Yes, Michael Pruitt, Johnson County Coroner.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
So it has been discovered that the actual duties assigned for the coroner's administrative assistant differed from what was originally requested. So this action tonight is simply bringing the description into alignment with the job approved by council in 2023. I can confirm that the updated job description that we have before us tonight was provided by WIS, and it does not change the classification of the job, and the salary would remain the same. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item G1 as presented. A and B as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Pam Burton, a second by Ron Bates. Any further discussion? Amy, again, we have a council member who stepped out. Roll call vote, please.
Jonathan Myers,
Aye.
John Mallers,
Aye.
Pamela Burton,
Aye.
Michelle Ellen Graves,
Aye.
John Dittmers,
Aye.
Ron Bates,
Aye.
motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
So next on our agenda, see G2 was Charlie Bourne, and we had moved him to the front of the agenda tonight. So we'll move on to G3. And that's approval of engagement letter for outside counsel for specific threatened litigation. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add, share?
I will, this has been going on for a while, so since I kind of carried the torch to begin with, I would like to say that, just to be clear for the record, retaining counsel is not directed at any individual council member, and it doesn't reflect any determination of facts or fault. The purpose here is to simply make sure the council as a body is properly represented in response to some threatened litigation. We did not use the council's current attorney on retainer, Peter King. Okay. Because the commissioners have already retained Attorney Barrett to investigate these same allegations. That is a criminal investigation, and it's being done for Johnson County. And I did not feel it was necessary or physically responsible to hire yet another attorney to do the same work. That investigation should include the council as part of county government. This is a standard and prudent step. It doesn't waive any rights. It doesn't prejudice anyone, and it doesn't limit the role of any council member. So realizing that there may be further discussion, Madam President, I would move to approve the professional services agreement with Williams Barrett and Wilkowski as presented.
I think that that was a very great explanation of the matter, and I would like to add that this agreement has been reviewed and it satisfies all necessary requirements and is ready for execution upon approval by this body. So the engagement letter is good to go.
So essentially, Mr. Barrett's going to represent the council in a dual role along with the commissioners in this matter, should it come to fruition. Is that correct?
Correct. And the council has been threatened. So at this point, we have to have legal services intervene.
And that's why we were not engaged. That's why we were not involved
Right.
in the beginning.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
So I have a motion on the floor.
So I have a motion on the floor by Pam Burton. If there's no further discussion.
Second.
I have a second by John Dittmers. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Nays? Motion passes. Thank you, Pam, for that. Item G4. This is regarding lit distribution. And I'm hoping Council Secretary Amy Thompson can share a few words for us with that topic.
So effective July 1, 2025, House Enrolled Act 1392 provides that commercial vehicle excise tax, CVET, and financial institutions tax, FIT, revenue distributions may be deposited into any fund maintained by a taxing unit. As a result, the DLGF. No, that's not right. So basically, like a portion each 6 months. So in June and December, we receive that revenue, and it goes into like all of our funds that have tax rates, like the general fund, CUME-CAP, county health reassessment, and so on. Now we can keep it as is, or we can put it into one fund if we want. Mike Reuter, our financial advisor, suggested that we put it all into our general fund because that's our most flexible fund.
So would there be any disadvantages to not doing this?
Probably not. He's forecasted so it won't affect what's going to happen in 26. He'll just need to know so he can forecast for 27.
Right. I did speak with him briefly and with that same question and basically the same answer Amy gave. Right now, that's the best spot to put the money according to our financial advisor because of the flexibility.
And that's why we pay him the big bucks.
Right.
I would agree with that concept.
Any further discussion or questions for Amy regarding, the lit distribution?
So if I can just get a motion to agree to pay CVET or receipt CVET and FIT into the general fund moving forward.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Ron Bates,
Second.
second by John Mallor. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. That is it. Thank you for everyone for coming. I would entertain a motion for adjournment at this time.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.